Welcome to the morning shoot around here on the Athletic NBA Daily, presented by eBay. And today, it's me and Dave DuFour, per usual, but we have a special guest, Fred Katz from the Athletic. I'm so excited to talk to Fred today. We're going to do the NBA stock report. So we've watched a week of NBA basketball, and it's probably way too early to do something like this, and that's why it's really fun to do it.
Well, we're
Fred,
speculators.
Yeah. Fred, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. It's always just an honor to be on the screen with you and Dave.
It's great.
Privilege.
If you guys have comments or questions, put them in the chat. And if you are listening to the podcast version of this, please tune in with us. It's usually around lunchtime. Call it the morning shoot around. Usually around lunchtime on Wednesdays.
Well, it's morning here on the West Coast.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. But we'd love to have you guys join in on the stream. Okay. Let's start. Fred, since you're the guest, we'll let you go first. Let's go stock up first.
All right. I'm going to stock up is good first. Let's start on, there's a lot of good stuff happening in the NBA. Let's start on something good. Stock up on the guy who we already thought of as being like Amazon level stock. Like if you thought having your stock in Amazon was steady, then imagine how steady it would be to have your stock in Erik Spoelstra.
Wow.
And yet I'm going stock up on Erik Spoelstra. Not necessarily because I'm sitting here thinking Erik Spoelstra is so much better of a coach than we ever realized, but because I am probably more interested in the Miami Heat than I am in any other team in the league right now. And it's because of the way they're playing. You know, people have talked about how they're just not running pick and rolls anymore and that kind of stuff. I think that conversation is way too simplified. I was looking at the numbers the other day. First of all, it's not just that they're not running pick and rolls. I was looking at the numbers the other day, and these might be a little bit, these are a little bit out of date now, but as of the other day, the Heat were running 22 pick and rolls per 100 possessions. That was last in the NBA by a long shot. 29th in the NBA was 42 pick and rolls per 100 possessions. So they were almost half of the second least pick and roll heavy offense in the NBA. But that simplifies it too much too, because the Heat aren't just not running pick and roll, right? And they're running a lot of the stuff we saw Memphis do last year, but they're doing it to way more of an extreme. It's that they're not setting screens at all.
Right.
They don't set screens off the ball. They don't set screens on the ball. They don't set screens to free up guys in transition. They are getting the ball. They are going. They are playing the fastest paced offense in the league. Notice I didn't say they're playing at a league leading pace because that's a useless stat. Stop using pace as a real stat. It's not a good stat. It tells you nothing, and it has no correlation to good or bad teams. But they're playing at the fastest pace of any offense in the league in terms of actually like the vernacular term of that word. They are getting into their sets insanely quickly. They are rushing the ball down the floor to cross half court insanely quickly. They don't have Tyler Hero, and I imagine when Tyler Hero gets back, whenever that is, they're going to be setting some more screens because I'm sure part of this is like you don't have your pick and roll ball handler, so you got to figure out other ways to score. But they're not running the dribble handoff stuff nearly as much as they used to with Bam. They are just like cutting and replacing the cutter. It's a lot of the stuff we saw in Memphis last year. We saw some of it in Cleveland last year. Memphis obviously got away from it to the extreme. Cleveland kind of actually got away from it. It's called CLA. Like Cleveland got away from that CLA stuff a little bit as the season went on and has gotten away from it a little bit more this year, although it still has elements of it in the offense. But Miami is going to this strategy insanely hard and insanely deep. And I think it's catching a lot of teams by surprise. I think it caught Orlando by surprise. I think it caught the Knicks by surprise. And their offense looks really good. And this was an offense that was incredibly stale for a few years. And I think everybody in Miami was like, we got to try something different. This is innovative. It's risky. I have no idea how it's going to look in the long term. I have no idea if the league is going to catch up to it and if people are going to not be taken by surprise as much. I have no idea how it might look during a playoff run when a lot of playoff basketball is trying to create advantages and setting a screen. The purpose is to try to create an advantage in some way, shape, or fashion. And if you take that out of your offense and you take away probably the easiest or at least the most intuitive way to create individual advantages during an offensive set. However, I'm extremely fascinated in it. They are running it incredibly well. It's working so far, and I find them insanely a team that I did not think was fun to watch at all last year. They're just fun to watch. They are just fun as hell. I love watching the Miami Heat right now. I don't miss their games.
When I was in Europe this summer, everybody kept saying everybody wants to play like Paris, right? What Thomas Isolo kind of came up with and made popular in Europe, I didn't think it was going to spread here this fast. But it makes sense when you're a team that's got athletes but not skill on the ball. It makes a ton of sense. When you think about just the way that, I mean, they don't have anyone that you're scared of being able to go get their own shot. So this makes perfect sense. Get the ball moving, let the ball do the work, let your feet do the work. Yeah, I'm actually surprised that this is coming over this quickly. I spent some time with Bayern Munich in their training camp, and this is just what everybody's trying to do over there.
Yeah, you look at the handoffs. You're talking about that. They've run 6 total handoffs in 4 games.
Insane.
And like,
what were the Warriors doing?
The Knicks are the top of the league. They're at like 36, I think.
Do you guys remember off the top of your head, or maybe we can look it up real quick? The Warriors, like in their heyday, like with Steph, because Steph is not a heavy duty like pick and roll ball handler guy. He's not a high volume guy. I wonder what those numbers would compare to what the Heat are doing right now. I mean, this is kind of unprecedented in this high pick and roll era, to be honest with you.
Yeah. It has been interesting to see what the Heat have done, how they've kind of like remade their roster to a degree. Obviously they had to post Jimmy Butler, but then they had to figure out like how are we going to actually have an offense with this team?
Right.
Because it's not super apparent what they should do. And if they stuck with what they did, like they were already in the mud, and then you're without like a true creator. So that has been cool.
Yeah.
My stock up, this is probably low hanging fruit, but Tyrese Maxey in the Philadelphia 76ers. Through 4 games, he's averaging 37.5 points per game, shooting 47% from 3 on 9.5 attempts, taking 11.5 free throws a game, 8.3 assists, 3.8 rebounds. That feels like a per 36 number or a per 100 possessions number. That's what he's been doing so far. He's looked ridiculous. He's going to cool off at some point. Like he's not going to average 37 points a game. That's not going to happen. However, the Sixers, and we kind of thought this already, but I think it is just totally obvious that they have their life raft to the next iteration of the team. And you get to kind of see, I mean, it's been really pretty sad watching Joel so far. Defensively, there's almost nothing there. Offensively, he'll get it going from time to time. But the fact that they have this guy, it raises the floor of their team in a significant way to where if he's healthy, like this is not going to be one of the worst teams in the league. And he will be like one of the best guards in the league. As we see some of these guys start to age out over the next couple of years, Tyrese Maxey is going to rise up and be probably one of those top 3 to 5 guards in the NBA.
I mean, he's got a shot at all NBA this year, right?
If he plays, if he plays,
if he averages 38 a game, I think he's got a real chance at making third team. I think he's got a real chance. If he breaks the non-Wilt scoring record, I think he's got a really good chance at seeing an award from it.
Yeah. I mean, he could be one of the 6 best guards statistically this year, right? Embiid and PG are going to be in and out all year. Maxey, I mean, he's mostly been healthy. He had the little hamstring thing, but I mean, I don't see any reason why this isn't sustainable for him. His shooting is incredible. I mean, he was the best shooter in his draft class by far, but I didn't know he was going to shoot like this off the dribble. And now he's a legit 30-foot threat. Like you have to guard him as soon as he crosses half court, and then he's so fast he can get to the basket. And now that they've got some other guys on the wing and the perimeter you have to guard, I don't know, man. The Sixers are fun. It's a fun story. I wish Embiid, that part of it wasn't so sad, because imagine these guys flying around like a peak MVP level Embiid.
That's a contender. Yeah, that's a true contender.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's also going to have the stats if, look, Nick Nurse has always been I'm going to play my starters a lot of minutes.
Yep.
But these dudes are playing right off the bat. Like Maxi's averaging, they played one overtime game, but Maxi is averaging 43 minutes a game right now through 4 games. Edgecombe is playing 40. Oubre is playing 39. When you got Kelly Oubre playing 39, you know that's just the intuitive decision. Like what champion hasn't had Kelly Oubre playing 39 minutes a game? You know, can you name one? I don't think you can name one. So you kind of have to do that. It's very Nick Nurse, who's great. He's obviously a great coach, but he loves playing his guys a ton of minutes, and that's going to help the Maxi thing. I would add, like, stock up for all the Sixers guards.
Yeah,
like,
truly.
If VJ Edgecombe is just like a holy crap kind of watch right now in terms of his unbelievable explosiveness and just his readiness, I'm sure somebody is going to say stock up for him at some point here, because how could you not? And if you came away from last year watching Quentin Grimes on a tanking team fill a role that he probably wouldn't fill on a winning team as just a lead ball handler, go out and create some stuff. Like, if you were watching that and you were wondering, okay, how do you evaluate this? What kind of player is he really? If you watch these first 4 games, like, you can see, I mean, I don't think Quentin Grimes is a 20 some odd point scorer, but you definitely see a world where that guy is contributing on both ends of the floor, hitting a ton of threes, doing some occasional stuff off the dribble, averaging, mid-teens, playing a lot of minutes for you, is not really an exploitable player on either side of the court, can attack closeouts. Like, Grimes just been good. He's been shooting. All 3 of those guys have been shooting the ball like crazy from 3. Edgecombe's 43 on 7 attempts a game. Maxi is 47 on 9.5. And Grimes is 48 on almost 7 attempts right now. I mean, those numbers are obviously going to come way down, but Maxi's an unbelievable shooter. Grimes is a very good 3-point shooter. Edgecombe, I think, is going to hit threes at a very good rate. Like, they've got real shooting, and they've got a good, promising young backcourt there. Can I add one thing that has nothing to do with the Sixers? Because I want to follow up on something that Dave proposed, which we're going back to the Heat. I'm instilling chaos in this podcast, even though it's not my podcast. We're going back to the Heat.
Yeah.
So Second Spectrum started tracking pick and roll data in 2013-14. So this is do the math, the 13th season.
Sure.
That we've had pick and roll data for. Before this, by the way, the 16 Warriors averaged 43 pick and rolls per 100 possessions.
Yeah. Okay.
During the regular season. So until now, the record during this 13-year span for fewest pick and rolls per 100 possessions averaged by a team was the 18-19 76ers. They averaged 38 pick and rolls per 100 possessions. And that is the record for the fewest pick and rolls per 100 averaged by a team in a single season. The Heat are averaging 19.8 right now. They are having the previous lowest number that has been compiled by a team over 13 seasons.
Yeah.
I mean, do the math. They're 13 seasons, 30 teams. That's 390. It's 390 different teams, and the Heat are having.
They don't have time. They're flying, man. You can't. They don't take enough time to set up for a pick and roll. Like, it just doesn't. I mean, it's amazing. It's been fun 100%. To watch.
So we talked about how few
they've got 2 140-point regulation games already, like this season. That is incredible. I don't know if it's sustainable. Right? We saw this with Memphis last year, where I felt like they ran out of gas, and you have to have a lot of guys to play this way. But they've got them. I mean, the one thing that Miami has is athletes. They lack skill, but they have athletes. And so leaning into that just makes sense. I mean, if you're not going to tank, you have to try. And this is where Eric Spoelstra, I think, and we're going to get a chance to really see how great of a coach he is. New stuff, right?
Yep.
We've been asking for new stuff. I want new stuff on defense, but that's hard.
Yes. I took us off track. Andrew.
No, it's my turn, I think.
It's also tough when there's so many fouls right now.
Yep.
Defensively. Like, what do you guys make of that?
I mean, it's just, I have complained about this the entire time I've done this. And I, at the risk of sounding like a broken record, I understand that you can't, maybe you don't feel like physically you can have these guys play a playoff style for 82 games. And that's why you call so many fouls. There has to be something better. I mean, how about just like, if you're going to call the fouls like this, call the travels and moving screens too, right? Like the defense right now has no chance, but like Giannis in the game yesterday, he took I don't know, it was 6 steps with the gather. Now the gather step is broken. It's busted and it's ruining basketball at every single level. I don't like it in general, but like 6 steps with the gather is outside even the spirit of the rule of the gather step. Like now you're flaunting it, right? So I think that they've got some officiating challenges beyond that, but they're calling it tight because they just don't want it to be physical because they want to keep the injuries down. Like I don't think that's a bad strategy. It's just not much fun. You know, I don't like watching free throws. Fred, we've talked about this before. Could you replace the free throw? Like, couldn't it be 1 for 2, right? Or something, just like it slows the game down so much. And then last night, like you have like it was an 11:15 Eastern start for the Warriors Clippers game.
Yeah.
And now you've got these guys like, I mean, in that game, it didn't go that late, but you know, you have a game where these teams are shooting like 50, 60 free throws. I don't know. Have some respect for the fans' time.
Yeah,
I do appreciate that the honeymoon with NBC lasted a week before people started complaining about something with the broadcast. I do really appreciate that people gave it a full week of being like, man, this is so much better than TNT. See, well, NBA, you finally did it right. And then after a week, they're like 11:13 start time. I'm out. Done. Screw NBC, these late start times. What a disaster. Why is an 8 p.m. game have to start at 8:16? What is wrong with everybody here? Can't they just be punctual like everybody else in the world? I'm glad that it took a week of just real harmony.
Nature's healing.
Before we could get back to complaining.
By next month, everyone's going to be on board with me on the anti-nostalgia kick. Round ball rock. Yeah, round ball rock is bad, actually, for now. Make a new thing. This AI voiceover with the guy from when I was a kid, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. That is weird and creepy and bad. You know, there are other people's voices that you could use for these intros. Like it doesn't have to all be people from when I was a child, right? Like, I don't know. It's just we're perpetually stuck in this thing where we're in the future, but everything has to be old.
Yeah, Dave's like, I'm sticking with skinny jeans. I'm looking back.
Yeah, I'm not changing again.
Looking back the last 10 years, and there's not a team that averaged 25 or more personal fouls per game. Like the closest I can get is the 2016-17 Phoenix Suns, a team we all remember. They were terrible. They averaged 24.8 fouls per game. There are 8 teams right now averaging 25 or more fouls per game. 8. It's a lot. It is a lot. And I just wonder, this happens every year where the officiating starts a certain way, teams adjust, the league adjusts, the officials adjust, and eventually we make it back to somewhere close to where we were last year. And so I just wonder if this is a trend that will continue. The Pacers are averaging 28.3 personal fouls per game, as are the Pistons, that exact same number. That is absurd. That is a crazy number of fouls.
Yeah. So I have 2 things. First of all, the 2016 Phoenix Suns, my goodness. There's one thing I know about the 2016 Phoenix Suns, and it's that they either had too many point guards or not enough point guards. Yeah. And I don't remember which one, but if it's the Suns, I know it's one of those 2. Secondly, I do think part of it, look, obviously, when you see a ton of fouls called, the first place you're going to go is officiating, and that probably is the number one reason. And we do see this kind of stuff tend to even out throughout the year, and I imagine it will come down as the year goes on. But we have to talk about the style of play change and all of these teams that are trying to mimic the way the Indiana Pacers played last year without the personnel of the Pacers. We've got offensive teams playing faster, which is probably going to do some more fouls because it's going to induce frantic defense. And then you've also got teams full court pressing more, which is also going to lead to more personal fouls, because what's going to happen is if you get beat, it's going to lead to guys slapping down. It's going to lead to players being more tired. And when they're more tired, they're more likely to defend with their hands and not with their legs. And when you defend with your upper body instead of your lower body, that's when you end up fouling. Dave's a coach. He knows this. That's why you tell everybody defend with your legs, stay in front of a guy as opposed to just swiping down with your hands or your arms. And on top of that, if you get beat on a press, it makes you more likely that you're going to have a mismatch. And that also makes it more likely that fouls are going to go up. So I do think there's a stylistic element to this too, where teams are playing a style that is more likely for them to foul defensively and more likely for them to force fouls offensively. And that's bringing that stuff up too.
Yep. I mean, you look at the list. I mean, the Raptors are 25th. I think they're averaging 25. I mean, ball pressure without the personnel to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me send a bunch of bad defenders out who are wild. Yeah. But also the officiating's tight. There are a lot of shooting fouls too. These are not just a lot of open court fouls. Yeah.
I'm not. I think it's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
I think it's just the perfect storm. I think you're seeing a stylistic change, and you're seeing the games called really tight on top of it, and that's how you get to this point of like more fouls. But I do think it'll come down throughout the season because number one, officiating tends to turn into something that is a better product throughout the course of the season. Every year we see like points of emphasis get emphasized to the extreme in October and November, and then they come down to more reasonable levels throughout the course of the year. And on top of that, every year we see teams say they want to play really fast right out the gate, and there's always increased pace in October and November, and then teams start to die down for whatever their particular reasons are, and pace of the league really gets slower basically every single month all the way into the playoffs throughout the course of a season. So I think both of those things are going to come down, and fouls will come down with it. Even if it ends up being a high foul season by the end, I think it'll be not as high foul season as it seems to be right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Dave, stock up
down. Oh, stock up. Sorry,
Did you do a stock up? Did you have
one?
I did.
Well, yeah. We talked about VJ Edgecombe a little bit, but how about the rookie class? This year's rookie class, way better than last year. The star potential in this class is absurd. Mm-hmm. Obviously, like Cooper Flagg, a bit up and down to start, but every other guy, VJ Edgecombe, who we talked about, been amazing to start. Looks like a star. Dylan Harper's been coming off the bench, and I just don't know like what the Spurs do. Knipple in Charlotte has had a really good start. Cedric Coward has been amazing, like shooting the ball as a rookie, which is exactly what that team has needed forever. This rookie class, I mean, I know why everyone was excited last year, because it did feel like all of my draft guys wanted to skip over last year's draft class to get to this year. And it has paid off tremendously. I mean, Andrew, like you do as much draft stuff as anybody who doesn't call themselves specifically a draft guy. Like, what's your read on this year's class? Are they living up to what you anticipated?
Yeah, I think they're better. I think they're quite a bit better. You know, because kind of the story coming into the season was that it's Cooper Flagg and then it's everybody else.
Right.
The everybody else has done quite well. And not only are these guys, a lot of these guys are shooting like absurd percentages right now.
You don't think Cedric Coward can shoot 70% from three? Wow, what a hater, man.
like just listen to some of these percentages. Like Coward's at 64%, Knipple's at 53%. Colin Murray Boyles is at 50% from three. Like that's not really his game. Yegor's at 50%. Asa Newell, who I think is probably like an underrated guy that's been pretty good for Atlanta, is at 66%. Sion James is at 77%. Like some of this stuff is going to level out. Like that's going to happen. But a lot of these guys are really good and they're super competitive too. Like you can tell that a lot of these guys are ready to play in the NBA. Trey Johnson, who, by the way, you guys know what Trey Johnson's real name is? Because it's not Trey.
And right, like, he's the third, I'm assuming.
He's the third, which, Fred, you'll be glad to hear no one's calling him Trey Johnson the third.
Yeah, that's true. Why does no one go Trey Johnson the third, and yet we hear Trey Murphy the third all the time?
Yeah.
Why is no one making the mistake with Trey Johnson?
No one's making the mistake. He's just Trey Johnson. Do you know what his real first name is?
I don't.
Richard Johnson.
Oh.
Wow.
Dick
How about this?
Johnson. Dick Johnson the third. There's 3 of these guys wandering around the earth right now. Can you believe that?
There's three dicks just walking around.
There's 3 Dick
that's
Johnsons
almost
wandering around.
That's almost as bad as Randy Johnson.
It is.
Whose nickname was the Big Unit.
That's true.
I mean, the guy had a synonym.
It's a good thing there aren't 3 Randy Johnsons.
Yeah. I mean, there are definitely a lot. If we lowercase it, there are definitely a lot more than 3 Randy Johnsons.
Oh, absolutely.
However,
billions, I would say.
Do you guys know the story of that Randy Johnson keeps a stash of baseballs next to his bed instead of a bat in case someone breaks in?
That's not true. Is that true?
That's what he says.
That can't be true.
I mean, maybe not now. The guy's a photographer now, right?
That can't be.
That'd be a bit. Although I have to say, if I broke into
bit.
somebody's house and Randy Johnson was waiting there to throw a baseball at me, you know what he would do? He would just so you couldn't avoid it, he would throw a slider at you and just nail you.
I don't know, man. I can hit a breaking ball, so
not Randy Johnson's.
no,
not that Randy Johnson slider. Damn, his name is Dick Johnson.
Yeah. Alex Spears texted me the other day on that one.
At that point, you just gotta lean into it.
Yeah, no, he's not Trey Johnson. Everybody.
Yeah, like the broadcast needs to lean into it. Like I want to hear like the Wizards broadcast being like Dick Johnson really inserting himself into that play.
Hey,
that's what I want to hear.
To get us back on track, shout out to the Charlotte Hornets for just drafting really good players.
Yeah,
in this last draft, like
bunch of solid guys.
I think McNeely is going to be good. You know, obviously they got their top guys like Sion James. I think can play. Obviously, Kalkbrenner is a guy to bring it back to our previous conversation. Ryan Kalkbrenner is is like a real center in the NBA, and then you have at the top of the class, Konka Nipple looks like an awesome wing. That's just like a connective player that, man, the Hornets have needed this kind of guy for a long time. Just somebody who can help bring some functionality to the offense. Like I think that he is going to be so helpful to them. He's only 20 years old. Like the guy is going to be really, really good for the Hornets. So I think they did just about as good as anybody in the draft after getting some like pretty bad luck. Like they kind of needed a break, but they got it in the form of like all these draft picks are starting to work out for them.
Definitely. Yeah. I mean, Kalkbrenner looks really good. Yeah. Like he is. They have a very strange center situation where they came into the year and I was like, what are they going to be doing at the 5? Because they have Mason Plumlee, who at this point is just like a great vet to have and not necessarily a great vet to start. And they have Mamadou Diakite, who plays like his feet are on fire at all times. And I'm not sure there's a rebounder in the league who's more fun to watch. The guy just goes after freaking everything. And I think he's probably the best rebounder in the NBA who's never boxed anyone out. Like he is so great at just chasing after the balls, being a loose ball guy, and he's switchable and he's good defensively. He plays so hard.
You're talking about Moussa Diabate.
That's what I just said, right?
You said Mamadou Diakite.
Yeah, I was like,
Diabate.
What did you think about such a delightful guy? I had like one of the most like fun interactions with an NBA player at the Thunder facility one day with Mamadou Diakite, but that's not who you're talking about.
No, I'm talking about Moussa Diabate.
Yeah.
Diakite is such a delightful guy.
He's awesome. I love that.
I covered him with the Knicks. He is such a cheerful human being.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. And I just called Moussa Diabate him. Yeah.
Is Diakite on? See, the Hornets? I was like, I don't think he is.
Nope.
Although, look, now you can see how my brain works. And before we saw how Andrew's brain works, because he went from calling out Dick Johnson to talking about Knipple.
That's true.
And And now you can see how mine works. By the way, Trey Johnson, we make the name comments about Trey Johnson. Trey Johnson, that guy's going to be good.
He can really hoop.
He is good. That was a good pick at number 6 too. Like, this whole draft looks awesome.
Wizards, hey, you're going to have to go do some Wizards coverage. The Wizards are good, Keyshawn, man.
Can we talk about?
But they're on a good path.
Can we raise Keyshawn George's stock?
Yeah.
Well, we were talking about him. I mean, last night, man, the game that they played against the Sixers, him and Alex Sarr, that's something. That's a thing. His ability to handle it, the 4, kind of reminds me of Paul George a little bit, the way he plays. And then the shot is smooth. Those back-to-back threes that were from the same spot, where he turns his body, which is like, that is an advanced shooting thing. That's something that usually takes a few years in the NBA because younger players have happy feet. And so just to have your feet ready and turn your body to receive the pass like he did, to be ready to shoot, amazing. So what is this? His second season? I can't remember.
Second season, and he's averaging, it's through 4 games, it's early, 20 points, 9 boards, 5 assists, 1.3 steals, 1.5 blocks per game.
Awesome. That's amazing.
Forget about whether that is a season average or not, which it probably isn't. But that's just an impressive 4-game stretch for a dude entering his second season and whose role was a little uncertain coming into this year. Like we didn't know if the Wizards were going to want to use him as more of a complimentary role player, if they were going to turn it over to him and be like, you know what, just go do your damn thing. Mm-hmm. And they have put him in a position to succeed, and he looks comfortable. Like, he does not look overmatched handling more. He doesn't look overmatched as a facilitator. And the Wizards are staying in these games.
Yeah.
You know,
they probably won last night against the Sixers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably should have. But it was great tank game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leaves you with good vibes and a loss.
Yeah. I mean, be good, and you can be like fun and competitive and still lose. You don't have to do whatever, like Brooklyn is trying to do. You don't have to do that. I mean, young players are not good enough to really win NBA games. And now with flattened lottery odds, you don't have to just be awful. And winning does matter. Learning how to win games when you're young matters. Sarr was also awesome, by the way.
Yeah, stock up for Sarr.
Stock up for the Wizards, which crazy.
I get to see him in person on Thursday. I can't wait.
Wizards having their stock up. My goodness.
I know.
The Wizards having their stock up. When was the last time the Wizards had their stock up?
John Wall.
The last time the Wizards stock was up, Enron's stock was up.
That's probably,
it was like right after the housing crisis.
Yeah. Yeah. Sheesh.
No, it was 2017. 2017. They came a game away from the conference finals, but sure feels like the Enron era.
Yeah. Yeah. This is wild. Okay. Stock down. Where are we going with stock down, Dave?
Man, this hurts me. But they do this to me all the time. I'm annoyed with the Atlanta Hawks. This was supposed to just be bread and butter. Day one, plug and play. And it has not been. There looks like there's been some regression from a couple of their guys. I'm not happy with the fit. Jalen Johnson's been good, but not overwhelming. Like he hasn't just exploded in the way that I expected him to. And maybe this is my own expectations. And then I don't know. There's been too many times where I'm seeing Trae Young in the corner when I'm watching them play offense, and I'm confused by it. It isn't that I don't think Trae should be off the ball, but that's an ineffective use of one of the most dynamic offensive players in basketball. There is no reason that he can just stand in the corner for a possession. So I'm a little bit confused by what they're doing. And obviously the results have not been good.
Yeah. I think the other thing with the Hawks too, is that like they have a really good top 8. And I think the Hawks are going to be okay. I think they're going to be good. But
sure,
they have
they're
really
going to be
good
fine.
top 8. Yeah, they have a really good top 8. And after that is where you're like, all right, is Esanua going to be able to sustain as like a 9th guy throughout the year? Or, is Mo Gay going to play that role well enough to be able to do it? And when you're talking about a 9th guy, it's like, fine, you step in, you play her 15 minutes, you're all right during the regular season. But when Porzingis has missed a couple of games already, and Jalen Johnson has missed a game with the ankle injury, and that doesn't seem to be serious, but Jalen Johnson has had injury issues basically every year. Porzingis is obviously dealing with, POTS, the condition that he had, kept him out last year, and he's got the injury history on top of that. And you look at what happens to the roster when they're down to like 6 guys, and it's not a playoff game, it's just an October game. Then all of a sudden, you're like, the Hawks look and feel thin. Porzingis is especially important for them too. Like I wrote a Hawks story leading into the season. I went down to Atlanta and I based that story around Kristaps Porzingis. And there's a reason why I wanted to talk to Porzingis for that story specifically. And it's because of how important he is to that team, how important he is. And this kind of stuff tends to happen with Kristaps Porzingis because of the style of player he is, as much as because of the quality of player that he is. But his ability to protect the rim behind Trey and open up the floor on the other side is so important for how the Hawks want to play. And they also want to play this incredibly fast, frantic style. But you want that sort of rim protector. You want that sort of versatility defensively that you can have where you can be like, all right, we're going to play a really good drop with Porzingis. And then when we need to, we're going to play really good, more aggressive pick and roll defensive styles with Okongwu at the 5. And you're going to be able to play Okongwu and Porzingis together if you want that. You're going to be able to have multiple really good defensive wings with Dyson Daniels and Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Dyson Daniels, who's off to a slow start offensively to begin this season also. And when Porzingis isn't there, I think it just changes the fabric of their team. And he's played in a couple of games. He was really good in those couple of games, but he's only played in a couple of games. And I don't think the expectation is Kristaps Porzingis plays 65 games. But, when they don't have Porzingis, it just looks different. And I think they'll be okay. And I think they'll look good when they have Porzingis. But I agree, they have not looked anywhere near the best version of themselves over these first 4 games.
Trey's shots are down. He's not shooting it well, but his shots are down. Assists are down, right? So other guys aren't shooting it as well. But then they've given up 138 to the Raptors and 128 to the Bulls. But they just don't have the defense. And maybe that's because of the lack of depth. Maybe this is going to settle itself out. But they're not coming out of the gate the way I expected them to. I had high expectations for them. I mean, I think Trae Young is, again, one of the more talented offensive and dangerous offensive players in the NBA. And I really thought this team was built to highlight him. So I just had these high expectations. The Porzingis stuff is obviously, when we're doing previews of the season, the question is, well, is Porzingis going to be healthy? And that seems like it's going to be the most important thing for the team.
Yeah, especially when one of their biggest problems is they don't really have a backup center.
Right.
Like that to me, not having quality depth at center is like a really easy way to lose games in the NBA.
Well, it's the core of the defense, Andrew. Like you look at the teams that have quality backup bigs, and it's the top half of the league in defense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And even a backup point guard, like I like Nickeil. I think Nickeil's a really good player and a good secondary ball handler, but they don't have a real backup point guard either. Like they have the depth that they have is all on the wing, which is good. Like you need that. But if you don't have a backup point guard and you don't have a backup center, like it gets really tricky to organize the offense and to have a competent defense for 48 minutes.
I wonder if there's some hope that like Risa Shea has some internal development as a playmaker, because we've seen some of that, right? Like he can handle, he can pass, but you just can't bank on that if you actually want to compete. Like you have to have known knowns. The unknown stuff is that's gravy on top. Mm-hmm. Finding out a guy can do some things along the way is extra. But if you think that if your goal is to compete for a title, which it seemed like that's what they were trying to do, make the finals, You just have to have known quantities. Nikhil, like you said, Nikhil is more of a combo guy. Yeah. So one of the reasons why I like them signing him was because he could play with Trey, and he can score enough as an individual creator off the bench that you can have him out there alone. But you almost have to have two of those guys if you don't have a guy who's more traditional point guard. So you need to add like Karis LeVert along with Nikhil Alexander-Walker or something to that degree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there was also faith that Dyson Daniels would kind of continue his progression as a pick and roll ball handler. And that even though he's a starter, you stagger him and Trey and you're able to play Daniels with the bench unit. And I think that part has kind of lagged behind. We haven't seen progression from Dyson Daniels. And look, this kind of sounds like the same conversation we've had about the Hawks for the last 976 years, right? Which is when they muster enough offense with Trey Young off the court. And I still think the Hawks have a lot more to give on that front, and I think they will get there. But they obviously haven't really shown it over these first 4 games.
Yeah. Bumming me out.
Yeah. Stock down for me. Teams in Texas that don't have point guards. We just thought, like, going into the season, it was like, oh, these are really interesting experiments that are happening. These teams are going to be giant in Houston and Dallas. How are teams going to deal with the like? Turns out, like, just being faster is helpful than these teams. I don't really know what the offensive identity of the Houston Rockets is going to be ultimately. They've kind of fallen into this ISO heavy basketball that has not been great for them to this point. I don't really know what they're going to do outside of like your turn, my turn. They don't have good shooting around KD. They don't have like a true pick and roll ball handler. They don't have somebody to organize their offense. I don't know what they're going to be. And Dallas is like all of that, but much worse. And there's like D'Angelo Russell just lurking in the background, like just waiting to take every shot. I don't know what happens to both these teams during the season. It does not look great offensively. Houston is obviously much better defensively. Dallas hasn't even looked good defensively so far. But turns out having guards on your team and multiple guards, good thing. You should do that. Look at the other team in Texas right now that they're going to have plenty, especially when De'Aaron Fox gets back. I think that it's like they're set, like they're in a really, really good spot. But when you don't have like a good primary ball handler, I think it sets you up to just be in a really strange spot, especially if you're trying to compete like Houston is.
If you're going to play in Texas, you need a point guard in your starting lineup. Is that what you're saying?
Texas.
Anywhere. It's amazing to me that the Houston Rockets not having an offense is not a bigger story. And they haven't had an offense. I mean, like Ime Udoka, what's the offensive philosophy of the Houston Rockets outside of go beat the man in front of you?
Yeah.
Make your shots. They are tough shot takers. This was last season too, man. End of shot clock. Fred VanVleet, the bailout option, Mr. Hand Grenade, right? Dylan Brooks, same way. And so, this is why they have to offensive rebound. Like they have to be an elite offensive rebounding team. They need to probably lead the league in shot attempts, actually, because they are going to rely on tough shooting. Their shot diet is not going to be easy. It's not a recipe for success come playoff time. And this idea that and even with VanVleet's not the point guard that solves this problem. The problem is systemic. They don't have one, right? There is no system. There is no easy way to generate a bucket. How often outside of, smart cutting? Smart cutting is great, but it's not reliable. Defenses can cut down cutting angles. You have to have, running plays actually does matter. It opens up some of the read and react stuff. So I would love to see what it looked like if they had like offensive sets from time to time.
Their best offensive strategy, Dave, I don't think it's make shots. I think their best offensive strategy is actually miss shots. Because that's when their offense is the best.
Well, the kick out to the three, right? It's the kick out on the offensive rebound to the 3-point shooter is the best play in basketball at any level.
And maybe I covered Tibbs for too long, Maybe I did. But here's what I'll say. I'm not as down on the Houston offense as you guys are. Maybe I'm down on the Houston offense as like a playoff offense. However, I think they are going to take more shots than any other team. They're right now, they're bottom half of the league in effective field goal percentage. They played 3 games, whatever. I'm just saying this to demonstrate just the concept of what can happen with the math if it's stretched over a long period of time. And there have been teams that have done to this extreme over the course of a season. So this is not statistically impossible by any stretch.
The Grizzlies,
Knicks, like the Tibbs Knicks, like the Knicks had a few years ago where they were 3rd in offense and they were like 20th in effective field goal percentage. And it was because they were the best offensive rebounding team in the league. Houston is getting 41% of their own misses right now. That is not a thing. And offensive rebounding is up across the whole league. The whole league has realized that offensive rebounding, except for like a couple of teams, the whole league has realized offensive rebounding basically has no correlation to transition defense if you do it the right way. And we're going to crash way more, and teams are crashing way more. They're forcing defensive teams to box out way more, and they are going after offensive boards. There were like a few years ago, there were like a few teams, 3, 4, 5, who have a 30% offensive rebound rate. This year, it's like more than half the league has a 30% offensive rebound rate right now. Houston is getting 41%.
There's a strategy called, it's tagging in, right? Like you basically, when you crash behind the guy. So that way, because more 3-pointers means longer rebounds. So the way that you limit transition is you literally block them with your body while going for the rebound. Mm-hmm. By the way, I checked while you were talking because just on a hunch, the Milwaukee Bucks dead last in offensive rebounding. Doc Rivers was the guy who pioneered, him and Tom Thibodeau pioneered getting back on defense, which, again, watching this evolve back to offensive rebounding. And then those Memphis years with Steven Adams is one of the best offensive rebounders in NBA history.
Elite. Yeah.
Just incredible. He takes up so much space, but those Memphis years, it covered up for a lot of warts for the offense there. And it's going to do the same thing in Houston. To me, that's a team that has title aspirations. That is not going to happen in the playoffs. The foul, it's just not going to happen. Teams are going to be able to get more physical. Those shots that are already hard in the regular season are just going to be more difficult. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're probably right.
Can they get right. Derek White?
Maybe they could. If the Celtics make him available, they have the resources to get anybody they want. Mm-hmm. They got the picks. They got the young players. They didn't extend Tari Eason, which makes him tradable in these scenarios. They could do it. What I was going to add, where is Houston right now in points per possession? In spite of all the terrible offensive numbers that we've said. Where is Houston right now in points per possession?
You'll have to tell me.
Third.
Yeah. 121.2 offensive rating.
Because they are, through 3 games, whatever. I don't think they're going to be third. My point is not that the Rockets are going to be the 3rd best regular season offense in the league. My point is, if you get an insane amount of offensive rebounds, which they will, even if Steven Adams has to exit the lineup because, he needs time off or he gets hurt, because that often happens. Even if that happens, they're going to get an insane amount of offensive rebounds. They are still absolutely massive in every way, and they are built to offensive rebound. I think during the regular season, they are going to get enough offensive rebounds to be a legitimately good offense statistically. And I still think they're going to win a lot of games, but I agree with you in terms of their playoff viability. At some point that becomes untenable, especially because they're part of the reason they're good offensively is because they're very good in transition. And in the half court, they just bog down and they have these insanely long possessions. They take forever to initiate and they take forever to find a good shot. And that obviously is a bad playoff trait. But in terms of regular season wins, I still think they're going to win a lot of games.
I don't think we talk about basketball enough in direct possession battle terms and how important that is. Just taking more shots than your opponent, more bites of the apple, that gives you a better shot to win. You win more often if you take more shots, period. Yeah. And if you can lead the league in shots, you probably are going to get 50 wins, period. If you take the most shots in the league, you're going to have 50 wins. and this is my gut, right? Like someone look this up and please tell me I'm wrong, but it does. That's how it's been the last few years. And so to me, I think that again, they should be able to churn regular season wins through defense and offensive rebounding. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The questions are, this is post trade deadline, right? I think they're going to make a move because they do have the talent. Like this could be a title team.
Yeah, they do have the talent. They just need somebody to help them organize things. Dallas on the other end of the offensive rebounding conversation is the worst.
Which makes no sense.
Offensive rebound percentage, the worst.
You know, and where's Dallas? And where's Dallas in points per possession right now?
Right.
Dead last. Because that's your way of making up for it. You win the possession game.
Yep. Big for no reason. Big for no reason. You've got a 6'10" point guard. Big for no reason. What are you doing? I don't know. That's a bit befuddling. I just, you've got this excellent center rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah. Do we want to end with a stock up? Make a little Oreo here, Fred?
Sure, we can end with a stock up.
Let's do it.
I didn't get to do a stock down, but I will. I just want to say this.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna make a pun on the Sacramento Kings G League team, and I'm just gonna call them the stock down Kings.
Poor Kings fans, man.
That's the only point I wanted to make.
Okay, I like that. I just feel bad for Deuce and Mo. That's what I feel bad for.
The Kings are just a conglomeration of players who are good players and talented players,
Hall of Famer,
who make no sense next to anyone else they're around, and who bring out the best in no one around them. It just is. I mean, with DeRozan, Levine, and Sabonis on the floor, they're getting outscored by 14 per 100 right now.
Yeah.
Hey, if I opened a pack of basketball cards, it would look like the Kings roster. You know what I mean? Just no rhyme or reason. And if I was just, I got a Sabonis. You know, there is no rhyme or reason. They've had this issue. I mean, Sabonis is a major problem. He's hard to build around. He has to touch the ball, and he's not elite. And everything else cascades down from that. You have to have these other guys who can individually create, but they also can't defend. Your defense is never going to be good. They're a team that needs to have a fire sale and just won't.
Can't, I would argue.
Well, fair.
What are you going to do? It's like if somebody brought dinner over and they're like, hey, I brought you a taco and chicken noodle soup.
Whoa.
Like, hang on. Like, no, like there's nothing goes together. Like individually, these things are pretty good, but I'm not.
You know what I have to say?
You don't think Zach LaVine could help a team? I mean, he's on an expiring deal, right? Like, you don't think that there's a contender that?
No, I don't, Dave.
Orlando couldn't use Zach LaVine.
No, that's the last thing Orlando needs. Come on.
Dave and I had completely different takeaways from your comment, because my takeaway was I would totally have a taco and chicken noodle soup.
You would have a taco.
No,
sure. If someone just brought over some free, like a good taco and some chicken noodle soup, if it's good, I'm thrilled. I'm not going to order it together, but I'm thrilled.
Maybe you're a Kings fan. I don't know. You're like, I like this.
I'm like the Jeremy Lamb of this workplace.
Unreal. Now Dave is just gone now.
Yeah.
He's just
my camera overheated.
It's not going to shoot around. Okay. Stock back up. Let's go to. I don't think you have a stock up Kings thing on the other side of this, but what do you got?
No, that wouldn't be as good of a pun as stock down Kings. So I can't have that. Stock up for Skinny Luka.
Yeah.
Stock up for Skinny Luka.
It's quite good.
Skinny Luka just gonna average 50 points a game and do everything that you want Luka to do. Apparently, those 2 games from him were pretty freaking magical and amazing. And it's really, I mean, Look, I'm sorry, Mavs fans. It must be. We just had a whole conversation about the Mavs being last in everything offensively.
Yeah.
And now we got to talk about Luka just looking awesome. And what a joy to watch Luka. Honestly, stock up on just like this year's MVP race. I know it's super early.
It's early.
It's never too early though with what's going on this first week.
It's
absurd.
I'm just saying it's like set up to be an epic MVP race. Because I just said stock up on Luka Doncic, who everybody agreed coming into this year was the top 4 player in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone. And I honestly probably should have said stock up on Giannis Antetokounmpo before I said stock up on Luka.
Sure.
Because holy crap, Giannis, I texted Eric Name, our Bucks beat writer, does an unbelievable job. Don't tell Eric.
He was on the show this morning
on the NBA Daily.
Yep. Yeah. Definitely don't tell Eric I said he does an unbelievable job. But I texted Eric last night. I'm watching Bucks Knicks, and it's like the 3rd Bucks game I've watched. And I'm like, is Giannis better than he's ever been? Like, he's just a better passer? He had like 5 dunks in that game where I was just like, what in the world? He dunked that? And he's always been that type of player. But he's playing with so much force. He is a better passer than ever, I think. I think he's a better attacker than ever. I think he's a better pick and roll facilitator than ever. He is playing fantastic defensively. He has just been legitimately doing everything for a team that absolutely requires him to do everything. But when he does everything, they're pretty freaking good. Luka, I just touched on, has scored 92 points in his first 2 games played. Victor Wembanyama looks like he's just going to have a season that we've never really seen since Wilt, I guess, in terms of, they weren't keeping track of blocks with Wilt, but you have to imagine that, these are going to end up being like Wilty type numbers if he's going to average 30 and 14 and 4 blocks or whatever it's going to end up being. And this MVP race, I mean, Jokic putting up Jokic numbers as he will, like,
we've been bored with Jokic. I mean, Jokic is just doing the Jokic thing. I mean,
Shea averaging 40. Good, right? Shea's averaging like close to 40.
Yeah.
Like
on the Giannis
this MVP race is it's setting up to be a really cool one that's going to really stress me out a lot when I have to vote.
Giannis looks healthy. And then I think coming off Eurobasket, I think he's got a little bit of an edge to him, which a lot of these guys will, right? Like just being sharper, playing over the summer and playing, and especially that competition for him where I know it meant a lot. But the passing stuff, I'm not sure where that came from. That just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
He's always been a good passer, but like
he has had good vision, but I wouldn't say he's been a good passer. He's turned himself into a really good passer now. Like he sees stuff, but he hasn't always been able to deliver. And now it feels like he's got real touch on his passing. That's different.
Yeah, he's been excellent. And he's been excellent creating threes too. The Bucks had a very specific goal that they wanted to take more threes this year. Mm-hmm. And last year they led the league in percentage, but they were, I think, 17th in attempts. And they wanted to change that coming into this year. They really wanted to get into the top 10 in terms of attempts and become just a much more high frequency 3-point attack. And so much of that, if not all of it, hinged on Giannis's ability to get into the paint and create for others from there. And he is honestly executing it in as great of a way as I could possibly imagine it being. I mean, the numbers that can we just read his numbers really quick?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, this is one of those things where like, yeah, it's early in the season. He's not going to average this for a whole season, but just a 4-game stretch of doing this at any point is pretty unbelievable. He is averaging 36, 14, 7 assists. He's getting to the line as usual 11 times a game, and he's shooting 70% from the field. What?
Yeah,
what?
Insane.
What? How is this a thing?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's like numbers a guy would put up in 1962.
Yeah. Yeah, the league is in a pretty wild place offensively to start the year. There's 11 guys averaging 30 or more points per game.
There have been how many 40-point games now? What are we up to? It was at least 16 the other night. 4 50-point games. And this is in October, and we've still got a couple days left. NBA Cup Friday night, and you know somebody's going to go nuts Friday night. Yep. Respecting the cup.
Of course. Everybody's pumped.
I thought Giannis was going to pop last night for 50 because it was the Knicks, you know?
Yeah.
And he started slow, but then he had that amazing second half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What, Fred, like, who's going to win MVP? Like, just after you just watched this week, just like, how does it feel right now after this week? The narratives are being set.
I just said that this was going to stress me out when I had to make the decision. And Dave's like, let's push that moment up to right.
I think it's going to be Giannis. Like, you know,
yeah, I think I would.
Eric made a great point on the show this morning, and he said everyone was so down on the Bucks that if Giannis does this and they're top 4 in the East, it's going to be really hard not to vote for him. I think he's actually right. The argument is there. The narrative was laid beforehand, and he's obviously going to put the numbers up. If they win, it feels like Giannis is going to have it.
I agree with Eric. I am not sleeping on the possibility of the Thunder winning 70 games, and people saying Thunder just won 70 and Shea won last year and he had a better year this year. How is he not MVP? I could see Shea garnering votes that way. And I'll tell you this. I didn't see anyone having the Spurs in the top 6. I saw a lot of people who were really excited about the Spurs. I saw a lot of people who were maybe higher on the Spurs than consensus. I didn't see anyone with the Spurs in the top 6. And to be clear, I didn't have the Spurs in the top 6. If Victor Wembanyama is 30-14 and is by far not even close the best defensive player in the NBA.
6 stocks a game is what he's at right now. 6.
Right, by far. It's just not even close to the second best defender in the union.
Teams have stopped shooting against him.
Yeah, they don't shoot.
Rightfully so.
They're giving up like 20 some odd points per 100 possessions in the paint when he's on the court. The hell?
Yeah.
Like teams don't shoot. It's like double that when he's off the court. Like teams do not shoot when he is on the court. He completely changes the other team's shot profile on top of the fact that he's the best defensive playmaker in the entire league from a blocks and steals perspective. So if you've got a guy who is by far the best defensive player in the league, who is also averaging 30 and is just playing with an incredible force, and the Spurs, I mean, we talked about how, what if the Bucks outplay expectation? They finish top 4? Like, totally. The Bucks could win 48 games in a weak East. They could win 50 games in a weak East, and they could finish top 3, top 4. It's on the table if Giannis is going to play like this, and Giannis could win MVP that way. What if the Spurs win the same amount of games, 48 games, but in a way better Western Conference, and Wembanyama is putting up these numbers? Like, that's on the table too. And I do think people would probably lean Giannis over Wembanyama, because right now I would say Giannis is the better player, and I think he's the more respected player because Wembanyama is 21. I think people are just going to lean more towards like, that dude's got the experience. But damn, like, I don't think we can rule out Wemby. I don't think we could rule out Jokic if people are going to be like, he just averaged a 30-point triple-double again. I
think Jokic has got no shot. He's had the best season ever 5 years in a row. Like, it's not going to happen. They would have to win 68, 70 games.
They could win 60 games.
60. I don't think they can win 70. They don't have the guys for that.
Yeah. They've never won 60 with Jokic. Which is interesting.
But they got Tim Hardaway now. So
listen, that's what everyone waits for.
He's been awesome.
When they try to win. Be Tall Air wants to know. Quick question. Who wins a 7-game series? The Bucks without Giannis or the Wizards? It's the Wizards. Easily.
It's probably the Wizards. Because Kyle Kuzma? What is Kyle Kuzma?
It's not even
it's the Wizards.
It's not even close.
That's nuts.
It's a sweep.
Giannis is the MVP. That's it.
Yeah, I was going to say, if that's the answer, then Giannis is the MVP.
That's it.
That's
Appreciate you. Thank you guys for showing up.
That the Bucks PR should send around to everybody. They should send that question to everybody.
Yep. No debate.
Every person that has a vote should get that question.
Speaking of the Bucks, can I just go kind of an out there stock up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stock up Ryan Rollins.
Absolutely.
Stock up Ryan Rollins. Right? Ryan Rollins. Is KPJ going to get the starting spot?
I don't think so.
He shouldn't.
Nope.
He shouldn't.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Ryan Rollins can
great
hoop.
For them.
He can guard. Again, another guy we talked about on the show. Eric Name talked about how Rajon Rondo is like taking him under his wing, or Ryan Rollins has put himself under his wing. And you got a guy those kind of like that kind of wingspan, that kind of head for the ball, like as far as like he wants to be a good defender. Yeah, I like it. I'm happily surprised by the Bucks. That's a good story.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have another question in the chat? Why aren't you guys talking about the undefeated Bulls? Listen, here's why. Here's why we're not talking about the Bulls. It's because we're saving it for the Saturday Slam and Jam, because that's our surprise team, and we're very excited about it. Okay.
There we go.
So go ahead and leave me alone until Saturday. We'll talk about the Bulls then.
I mean, Andrew, I will say that Bulls fans are taking the team seriously when they say, why aren't you talking about the undefeated Bulls? You don't think they're as good as their record, and then they end the message with laughing my ass off. That's when Bulls fans have really bought into this team.
Shout out to Bulls fans. Listen,
if you can't be good, at least be fun. And the Bulls are fun. They fight in every game. They play hard. It's fine. They stink.
About to shock the world. They stink. No, they're about to shock the world. They're about to shock the world. Okay. Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Morning Shoot Around. Please leave us a comment on YouTube. You can comment on Spotify as well. Would really appreciate that. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk to you guys again tomorrow morning.